Hey, everyone. Happy Friday. We've made it through the week, y'all. Woo! Yes, God. And you know what that means. It's time for a brand new episode of Point of View. But first, let's give a warm welcome to our guest co-host today, Miss Danny Adams.
Hey
All
y'all.
right, bro. Let your soul glow. I know that's right.
All right. Black History Month tomorrow.
Hello. Well, coming up, Diddy's former assistant spills all in a tell-all interview. But what do you think? Should he be held accountable as well? And later in Mind, Body, and Soul, we're talking all things body positivity because it's time to embrace the skin you're in. So sit back, relax, and join the discussion. This is POV. Okay, now, y'all, so we're back with the latest update on Sean Diddy Combs. His former assistant, Philip Pines, is finally speaking out, and he's not holding back. For the first time, he's admitting to helping organize what we now know as Diddy's exclusive freak-offs, or as he called them, Wild King Nights. Take a look.
It was a circus. He did whatever he wanted. And we were just at his disposal. A lot of times you have him with a younger female, and there's a power dynamic there. My job is to shield his private life from the public. It was a circus. He did whatever he wanted.
So he said it was his job to shield his private life. So I guess since he's incarcerated, that no longer serves or stands?
I wonder what the
The
NDA actually said, like, because a lot of people are speaking out about Diddy now. So,
But they're anonymous.
he is clearly not.
Clearly, he's the only one that has shown a face with a name, but like everyone else.
But
has
to
come
be
out.
so close, though, like, that's
Yeah.
very dangerous.
It's making me think he didn't see anything criminal. Because I don't think he would be talking, or if he did see something, if he did see something criminal, I'm not saying that Diddy hasn't done anything criminal.
Sure.
But maybe he didn't see anything criminal, because if he did, I feel like he'll be messing up everybody's case.
No, I think he saw a lot,
Well,
actually.
if you watch the whole interview,
Right.
that little segment, he didn't say that there was anything inappropriate done other than him asking for illicit drugs that we can't name on the show.
Right.
But other than that, he didn't say that there was anybody being raped or being forced.
Right. He was very careful with his choice of words
He
in
was.
that interview, but he still did the interview.
Yeah, he
So
did.
he is playing the fence.
I don't know. I'm all over the place with this one, literally. Because first of all, when I saw the interview initially and I saw his name, Philip Pines, I'm silly. But I was it gave like, is this an alias? Because it read like Philippines almost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But on that note, my mind be everywhere.
Yeah.
Did he be picking the dumbest names? Wild King Knight, Puff Daddy, Brother Love. Like, I mean, who is picking these names for him? Like, I'm if he ever get back out and he needs somebody to pick the names out, I'm good with picking some
The king himself.
Right. He's picking those.
Right, but I don't know. I think that he probably did see a lot, but it's given that maybe he's kind of caught up, in some of these allegations and,
Like, somebody has to say something.
yeah. And so I feel like he's kind of maybe an effort to save himself,
But to leak those voice notes,
He did.
those voice
And those weren't
was
AI.
nasty.
Those were
How
not
we know?
AI.
We don't know if it was AI.
Well, I don't-
actually,
it sounds like him, though.
But
AI
see, this is
sound
my
more like
thing,
people
that now that
people.
it's on the media, it now can't be used in evidence, because how many, you know what I mean? It's like,
said it can't.
It's probably not going to be used in evidence. I don't know. I'm no
Maybe that's
lawyer.
why
Let me
he-
say-
Right.
Maybe that's why he went on there and he leaked them so that they couldn't use it as evidence.
It could be a
Listen,
strategy
That's the
to
thing.
I don't watch Law and Order SVU, and I think I know what they did.
Imagine if he's still working for Diddy.
And he went there,
Plot twist.
to leak those voice notes and to protect Diddy. But it said former assistant though, so I don't think he.
That
But
mean
something he
nothing.
did say is Diddy like younger women. And I feel like when we were talking about Diddy with Carisha, everybody was like, no. But what
No, because
if
he was on those voice. He was asking for the plan after A.
Oh, B.
Okay.
And the XYZs.
Okay.
He was.
And he was asking for Holly.
The pixie
He
dust.
was.
Ooh, okay.
And Mary
The
Jane.
pixie dust. Okay.
He was doing all the things.
Okay, he was
Yeah.
asking for a lot on there.
scientist.
So yeah, for him to like younger women though and young men is very interesting.
Yeah.
I think maybe his assistant was getting some too.
Right, but I think that
Lord
it is
have
a little
mercy.
bit vague, what he is not testifying in court, but he's still testifying to us about.
Right.
Because he's saying, hey, can you bring this? Can you bring that? He didn't
Yeah.
say, can you bring it for me?
Right.
Or he didn't say bring it for Jessica. We don't know who it's for. They could have been doing an experiment with it.
Right.
Now I don't think
They
that's what
could have
happened.
been putting it in a Pepsi bottle. Who
Right,
knows?
they could have been mixing it with a baby oil.
What he said that he did have to keep those shelves stocked daily. And Diddy used to send him those voice notes hourly, every 5 minutes.
Every 5 minutes is what he said.
Okay.
I wonder if he's seen anything, having to do with Kim Porter.
Oh,
I wonder if
God
he's seen
bless
any
her
abuse.
soul. Yes.
now speaking of a tragic death like that, it makes me think of other tragic deaths that happen in Hollywood that surrounds drug usage. So I think about Whitney Houston
and her daughter.
and her daughter. Like who's supplying these celebrities with all of this narcotics?
Their team.
Someone
Hello?
that close
Let's
to
make
them?
it make sense. Yes, their team is
I'm
supplying.
sure they got a few doctors.
Yeah,
because
because they can't just walk in there as themselves. They
And
have
get
to
all
get
this-
somebody else, to go and get it for them. So they have people within their team nobody's really, but people who are a part of their team who wouldn't be like as recognizable. So they can walk in the pharmacies and ask for whatever they asking for and not even say who it's for.
I'm sure they know who it's for after you go and get the
A
XYZ
few
5 times a week.
Or they
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
got
yeah.
somebody on payroll, a little secret person who
Yeah,
just gonna do it.
slide them a couple $100 and like this person will be here every Friday.
Yeah,
to
they got
pick
this
this
kind of
up.
doctors in the hood.
Yeah.
And they got an NDA.
Yeah.
Well, we gonna move on because we don't need Brother Combs, Diddy Love, come after us.
He can't come after nobody right now. He might send them kids,
You're a
but
little tied up. Well, moving on to our next topic, Tyrese has been through a lot when it comes to custody battles and child support struggles. But now it looks like there's a positive turn. He's rekindled his relationship with his daughter, Shayla. Everyone say it. My Shayla. And some sources even claim she chose to leave her mother to live with him. Now, shout out to all the fathers who continue to fight for their children on and off the camera. So let's dive into that. Like, we don't hear many stories about that, although they happen, right? But celebrity status, because he put everything out for us to see, and we've been following this story for a long time. So how do y'all feel?
I'm happy for them. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we're going to all speculate what it really is. But
Sure.
I'm happy that they're bonding. Hopefully that he is getting the mental health treatment that he needs. And it's,
Yeah.
that he's able to really parent her. She probably grew up being around her dad and is going to have opportunity to bond with him. And I don't think that mama is not going to be around. I think he's just going to be the custodial parent. And
Yeah.
he ain't got to get on the
18 now,
internet all
right?
that crying no more.
Ain't no more crying.
Ain't no more crying.
At least about
Let that man
Shayla.
cry.
Lord.
My Shayla!
Shayla, y'all drugged that man for filth.
Listen, it is really comforting to see, though. My mom used to say, in the time when she had become a single parent, that daddies get free love. And when she said that, I used to feel like, what are you talking about? Like, we love you too. But as I grew up, I realized that daddies do get free love. A lot of times when they're outside of the house, as a daughter especially, you still have that longing for a father's love. And so even though my dad wasn't as present, he was still, around, but he wasn't, we weren't a priority in his life at the time for what he allowed himself to be able to do. And my mom was, but still now I'm very close with my mom, but me and my dad have a different bond. And so I kind of see bits and pieces of her speaking to the daddies get free love.
No, that's a good point, because I don't know if y'all seen this viral clip of this daddy explaining to his daughter, like, your mom does all this invisible labor. Because she's like, Daddy, you do everything for me. But actually, Daddy is just playing around with you. Mama is the one doing all the labor.
Exactly.
She gonna know when you hiding something. I mean, I'm not a mama, but, I'm just saying that's how I go.
Yeah.
And the daddies get to,
Yeah, she's gonna
He's
make
on.
sure them socks and them bows match. Daddy's gonna be knowing what we going on.
what time your doctor's appointment.
Right. Well, let's think about children who grow up with divorced parents, especially those whose parents, doesn't have quite the best relationship with them. How does it affect a child's view of love, trust, and relationships in the future? Like, does it jeopardize that? Does it skew it in any way, you think?
So I think a little bit on that topic. One thing that I see single moms, do, or maybe they're not single moms, but when they're not with the father of the child, is they tend to, maybe out of bitterness or hurt or whatever the motivation
Withhold the
is,
child.
not just withhold, but to speak ill of the
Oh,
father.
yeah.
And I think that
Just 'cause of their
no
personal
matter
feelings,
how true it may be or seem, it never translates like that to the kids. And so the kids always end up wanting to have their relationship with their dad and seeking it out more to know if all this my mom said
Are you
about you
this
was
person?
true.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, even if it was true, your experience with your father is not going to be through the lens of your mom's eyes. So you
Right.
probably gonna feel like your mom was like, my mama talk about my dad like a dog. and it really made me, what did make me respect him was the fact that even though he could have said things about my mom, even if they weren't true, he didn't. And so I feel like that's what kind of pushed me a little bit towards him certain times, because he ain't such a baby. She
But I
went
have a
in.
question. Was your mom the person who was like your primary parent?
Yes, and she was merited in what she said about him. It was true. But that wasn't our business as kids. You know what I'm saying? We didn't want to know that. That's my daddy.
At some point, you got to know, girl, I'm out here struggling for you and your daddy done gone ship.
Yeah. But when I, had my own children, I realized how much my mom sacrificed and where her pain really came from. But that's still none of our business.
Junie, like, I ain't got nothing to do with that. But I do think it raises a good question, though, that I see on social media a lot now. Like, can fathers truly raise their kids without a mother being present? Because automatically the court gives the mother guardianship, and then the father is left to do, child support and all those things. And I know we'll get into that probably a little later on, but that's something for us to discuss on the show.
For sure.
Well, we're going to have to take a short commercial break, but we'll be right back with Girlfriend's Guide, Mind, Body, and Soul coming right up after this. This is POV.
Hey y'all, thanks so much for joining us at home and on social media. Y'all know I got a question for the last day of the week. It's for y'all at home and for the table. So y'all know we often talk about how people have their red flags, right? But what is a green flag in relationships that people often overlook?
A green flag for me is someone that prays, serious about a relationship with God, fasting, lives a healthy lifestyle, and values time with their kids.
Now listen, Talia, the men's is using God to finesse the women too, though.
They are.
They really are. I feel like the Christian
they
dating
gonna pull her
scam.
in by saying that I pray every
I wouldn't know.
Yes, they gonna pray over you and they gonna play over you. I'm telling you. I don't date the men that go to church. I want to bring my men to the church.
I know that's right. My God.
You better say
I'm
that,
done.
girlfriend. Okay, so
done.
a green flag for me would be that somebody who is like very motivated, like highly motivated in what they have going on, like in every aspect of their life. Like they're motivated at work, they're motivated at home, they're motivated in like everything that they do.
I think for me, it would be how he treats his mom, his relationship with his mom. And if his mom isn't around, how does he value and treat women that's in his life?
But what if you treat the women good, but then it's terrible to you?
It's not going to be on my shoulders.
Well, y'all at home, if y'all have any green flags that people often overlook, please drop them down in our comments. We'll be right back to POV right now.
Hey, y'all, welcome back. It's that time where we dive into all things love, friendships, and relationships. Let's get into it. This is Girlfriend's Guide. All right, now, y'all, Miss Ava DuVernay is an award-winning filmmaker, producer, and screenwriter. When it comes to Golden Globes, NAACP Awards, and Emmys, you name it, she has won it. But here's the interesting part. Ava recently opened up in an interview about why she chose not to marry or have kids, saying, I don't feel like I would be a good mother for a child. How many women in your life share Ava's perspective? I know that we have two women on the table now who don't have any kids at the moment.
Oh, I'm about to say.
Girl, I'm not throwing kids on you. Wait a minute.
We got two that got kids.
We have two.
We not there
The
yet.
table is divided,
We're not there
right?
yet. Okay.
But how do you feel? Does that resonate with you, like where you are in your career?
No, I don't know what Miss Ava got going on. I want kids.
Okay.
Yeah, I want twins specifically to start. I might be one and done after that, but who knows? You know, I might have a little football team in the coming years. Who knows? I do want kids. I do think that I would be a great mother. Miss Ava girl, like I understand where she's coming from, but I also feel like, you know, like once you get to where you feel like you're going, who are you gonna share that with? Like once you build your legacy, like what? It's gonna die when you die.
Well, but I think legacy to certain people, like I've heard Tracy Ellis Ross talk about this, like legacy to some people is what they leave their community or their other family members. Like they don't have to create.
But what if it's all for her? What if all of her accomplishments is literally just to help her get to where she's going? Like she's a filmmaker, right? So she makes movies. So she's like low key, leaving a trail, you know, in some sense, because she's leaving people with, you know, memories from movies and things like that. But like also like it's still for her own personal success. So
but people have children for their own personal success. Like sometimes people don't even really want children. They're just having children so somebody can have their last name. That's also selfish. I think when you're single, people sometimes like you're the selfish person. But look at Donald Trump. He married and he is selfish of them all. You know, I'm like, it's true.
That's right. Is that a good point? You brought that right on. I respect Ava's, you know, wish and her thought process on it. And I think that it is very important, even though I know it's not the way that it was designed. I feel like it's important to know what you want, and unless God come through like a flood, stick to that, because we see so many people, and I know this would not be her in the case, God willing, hopefully, but there's so many people that babies are abandoned and mistreated and neglected and just left with nannies and, you know, have no relationship, you know, or bond with their parent because the parent really didn't want them. So I think that if that's the way that she feels and she does not think that she would be good for a child, we don't know maybe her true toxic, you know, traits or just things that she does not want to compromise for someone else. That's the way that you feel. Having children is about compromise. And if you don't want to compromise, baby, lead them back is where they at.
Well, I know her story is that she comes from a family of like 5 other siblings, so that she would make 6. So she was the oldest, and so she took care of them. So
she been a mom already.
Yeah, so she's like, I'm good.
I did
had
my
fair
bid.
share. Yeah. So I'm 51. I'm doing really well in my career. And she might even want to marry, but I think she has a partner. But as far as like legalizing it and all those things, I don't think that's what she desires. You know, I can respect it though.
And maybe she has her own opinion about how kids should be raised, and maybe she doesn't want to raise her children in Hollywood.
And maybe you're right. It could be the world too.
Yeah, it could very well be that. It could also be like after, you know, maybe raising her siblings, and you feel like because of the love and all that I sacrificed for them, that our bond should be a certain way, or the respect for me should be a certain way. And if you see, okay, I done raised 5 and none of them got no respect, baby, I'm not finna try to do one of my own. You know?
Child. Well, it also makes me think too, J.D. Vance, he's now the vice president of these United States. He made a comment during the campaign about women needing to have children. Like you would be seen as less than if you didn't have children. That's when he made the reference to people being cat ladies. Do y'all remember that?
Yeah, I like cats and I ain't got no churn.
She has a cat. She has 2 cats.
I got 2 cats,
2.
and no children.
And no kids.
Yeah, I think he was low key. That's an insider, y'all.
Right.
Yeah. I think he was low key speaking to the state of maybe white women, because typically old white women be the cat ladies, and I think that he's also speaking to white women because they are the ones that supposedly are not having enough babies. So you know they ain't got nothing to do with us.
Okay, period.
Scared to go extinct.
Exactly, they dying down, baby. It's a dying race.
Well, we wish her well, whatever she decides to do with her womb and her ovaries. Do you, Miss Ava? Well, listen, now it's time for our final segment of the day. We're talking about all things body positivity in mind, body, and soul. So let's do it. As women, we come in all shapes and sizes, and that's what makes us beautiful and unique. But what happens when society tells us we don't fit into the ideal standards of beauty? From misconceptions to discrimination, let's break it down. So I know earlier on the show this week we talked about the rapper, I can't remember her name, God forgive me, the rapper from Detroit who is currently suing Uber.
Thank DeMoss.
Thank you, Lyft, for weight discrimination. So let's talk about that. I know that Danny, you do this for a living. You talk about body positivity and, breaking down the concept of fat because that has a negative connotation. But what's your take on this?
I mean, on the case?
On the whole
I think this is the first time the world in general is looking at somebody sue someone for weight discrimination. Like, even though this law has been in the book since 1977, most of us have never seen
in Michigan.
In Michigan specifically, thank you. But actually, 2023, New York City passed an ordinance that they can also not discriminate. I think Boston too. So, but this is the first time we're seeing this. So I think when I was reading a lot of the articles and stuff, I was really frustrated because why aren't you putting like in this information? And at the same time, like people saying she should order a bigger Uber, a bigger Lyft. A bigger Lyft is just 7 seatbelts. It's not actual this car, that car weighs this. So honestly, I don't know what's going to become of this case, but I think that we've done this to Monique. When Monique had a lawsuit, said that she was suing Netflix, nobody believed her. And people said, oh, well, she's just attention seeking. She want money. Then she got that money. And there was discrimination. And I think that sometimes people don't want to see larger Black women get what they deserve. It's always, oh, you have to be the mammy of the group, the servant of the group, make everybody feel good. But I almost said, well, I'd be darned if you really I'd be darned if you advocate for yourself. And I am not saying that like the driver is in the wrong for saying you can't sit in my car. I'm more so talking about the conversation like people are having around it, because if she was hourglass and 489 pounds, like, yeah, people probably would be saying something, but she probably would be sexualized. Like it's not really about health at all, because everybody be on Tinder having sex with people with no condom.
Oh, and it don't matter what size you are.
Lord,
Okay.
not
Where did the
Tinder.
last part come from? Because I was with you, girl. I was right there with you.
Lord, yeah.
I was shading the internet. I'm coming for you, baby.
Okay, because the last part threw me there. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta let us in on the inside. What's going on with Tinder and the
So we gonna have to talk about Tinder another time, baby.
No, all I'm saying is people are fake health conscious is what I mean.
Okay.
Because if you really sit here and think about it, I was sitting down with a friend one day. He was like, critiquing me on my weight. I said, well, we
I
both.
get what you're saying. Okay, I get
People
what
don't
you're saying.
really care about health. Okay, let me let it in. My bad, friend. But like, it's like people don't, people say they care about health, but they really don't. Like, we saw people burn in a fire in LA. Nobody's caring about environment at this point. Like, we're super consumed by aesthetics. That's why so many girls will go out of the country and put themselves at risk by themselves with nobody they know and have a 360 BBL and live in a house with strangers and have a whole medical condition. I think we all are like in so many ways like impacted by these beauty standards, but it's never a moment for us to say, wait, well, what could their experience really be in society? But that's all I got to say. I ain't got no more.
No, you got to have some more because I've had a question for the longest, and I really, wanted to ask before because I really want to be informed on, the conversation. And so, hearing about, the whole body positivity movement, and I feel like, it definitely is to be respected. We all have either been plus size at some point in life. I know I have. And even if it was on my own terms, baby, I was there.
Okay.
But, what I don't understand about the body positivity movement is, is it just saying, okay, love the body that you're in, which I feel like is important for all people of all sizes. But is there a space, in the movement where it really is about health consciousness? Because, it's not about like a size per se or anyone's image of beauty, but, and so that's why I feel like no one should be like a certain size, but it really depends on what your body and your heart ultimately can handle. So, what is the work that's being done around that? Or, do people have any kind of accountability to know, okay, like you're maybe getting a little too crazy?
You know what? I think the body positivity community is talking about health and being health conscious when they're advocating for chairs in doctors' offices to accommodate people who are larger, when they're advocating for beds to be a larger size to accommodate people who are larger, when they're saying, doctors, look at my overall health before you look at my weight,
Yes.
so that I can have an accurate health screening reading.
Right.
There is larger people advocating for health.
Okay.
Ooh, this is a deep topic. I'm sure we will continue this with the coming days. But I do want to quote something really quickly before we leave. I think she's a prophet, India Ari. She said, "I'm not the average girl from your video, and I ain't built like a supermodel, but I learned to love myself unconditionally
because I am
a queen." All right. Clock that tea. Well, that is the end of POV today. Thank y'all so much. We'll catch you back on Monday at 7:30. Be blessed. We'll see y'all soon. Bye.